class we started a data structures class concept. On the data structures concept, we discussed basics of list and tuple. In today's session, we'll discuss list functions, as well as we'll perform slicing on a list, and then next we'll see the basics of set and dictionary. Okay, it depends on time, guys. Till 6:30, whatever the portion we covered, that's it for that is for today's syllabus. Okay. So here yesterday we defined tuple and we defined list as well, and we saw the basics of this. So coming to the list, first point is anything is specified in a square bracket that will be said as list, and list parameters are attributes are separated with commas, and these are mutable or changeable data types. Means once you define the content in the list, we can able to modify the internal content present in the list. That's why these are said as mutable or changeable data types. Coming to the next, here these are ordered collection of items. Coming to the ordered collection of items, once in whatever the order you specify the element, on the same order you will get in an output whenever you observe the output. That is about ordered collection of items. Coming to the next, these are heterogeneous or compound data types. So coming to the heterogeneous or compound data types, so inside the list we can specify multiple data types. That's why these are said as heterogeneous or compound data types. Inside the data structures, if you can specify different kind of values, those are said as heterogeneous or compound data types. And coming to the next, I will be having list function, which is used to typecast any other data type in the form of list. Okay, it's about the thing. After that, we discussed the tuple basics also. Coming to the tuple, anything is specified in a parenthesis that will be said as a tuple data structure. Whereas if you want to create a tuple, we can specify values directly with the comma separation also. That will be also considered as tuple. Here, tuple attributes also separated with commas, and these are immutable or not changeable data types. Means once you define the content in the tuple, we are unable to modify the internal content present. That's why these are said as immutable or not changeable data types. These are also heterogeneous or compound data types. To typecast any other data type in the form of tuple, here we'll be having tuple typecasting function. Okay. Yeah. It is about the basics which we discussed yesterday, and we defined tuple list as well as we converted tuple in the form of list in the form of tuple. Now here we'll see how to perform nested slicing on the tuple. How to perform nested slicing on the tuple. To make you familiar with the nested slicing of the tuple, here what I'll do is I'll define tuple first. Initially, I'll define tuple. So here, while defining, no, not tuple, I'll define the nested list. Yeah, good. Here I'll specify tuple like, yeah, good. Initially, I'll specify RGKTB. After that, I'll specify, here I'll specify supply TB. After that, here I'll specify my college ID number, that is B131832. After that, here I'll specify, yeah, I'll take one more parameter in it. Yeah, good. Here I'll take one more nested list. In this, I'll specify, yeah, I'll specify my Insta ID, Jakub.1832. Okay. So here, these are the things which I am specifying here. Yeah, good. I'm running this now. Yeah, it is asking me to connect without GPU. I use it more than 8 hours today also. It's running, it is connected with the Google Cloud for the first time. So whenever you run the any instance for the first time, it will connect with the server first. Not every time it will connect with the server. For the first time only, it will connect with the server. It is connected and it is executed. Now, my requirement is from this RGKTB, I want to access character K. It's my requirement. So here to access character K, inside the list, we need to access the value which is presented 0th index. So we need to access the character which is present at 0th index. So here, if you say L of 0 means it will give RGUKTB. Now L of 0 means RGUKTB. See now L of 0 means it is giving string. It's giving string as an output. But what I want to access is we need to access character K from the string. whenever you want to access this character, what we need to do, we need to follow indexing again. So in this string, this character k will be presented 0, 1 to second index. So simply we can say L of 0 means it is RGKTB string. While entering into this string, we need to access the character which is presented third index. So whenever you say L of 0 of 3, here it is giving character k as an output. It's giving character k as an output. Now, what I want to do is from my Insta ID, from my Instagram ID, I want to access character 8. From my Instagram ID, I want to access character 8. That is the task. We'll be having character 8 commonly in this one ID number as well as here also, right? Yeah, good. Now what I want to do is I want to access character U from my Instagram ID. That is my requirement. So to access that character, we need to enter into this inner list. We need to enter into this inner list. So here to enter into that inner list, what we need to do? So initially we need to specify list name. And here in this list at the 0th index, we'll be having RGKTB. After that, at the first index, we'll be having this entire value. So here, this entire thing will be only one value. So if you are specify something in a nested list, this entire thing will be considered as single value. To make you clear that, here I'll say L of 1. So this RGKTB presented 0th index, and this entire nested list will be presented first index. So in this list, again, we need to enter into my Insta ID. To enter into my Insta ID, which is presented, see here in this list, it is presented 0th index. Again, this entire thing will be presented first index. Again, this entire thing will be presented first index. Now what I'll do is, here I'll say L of 1 means this thing. While entering into this thing, I want to access again this entire list. Initially, I want to access that entire list. So for that, simply what I'll do is I'll say L of 1 of 1. So if you say L of 1 of 1 means here we are getting this thing in an output. Now L of 1 of 1 means here you will get this one as an output. Again, in this, we need to access Jakub.1832. I want to access this thing. So whenever I want to access that IDs, that Insta ID, now what I want to do is while entering into L of 1 of 1 of, here what I'll do is, here I'll say, see, in this it will be presented first index. Now I'm saying L of 1 of 1. So if you say L of 1 of 1, here it is giving Jakub.1832. Now I accessed my Insta ID, which is present in the form of list, which is present in the form of list. So here in this list, we'll be having only one attribute. In this list, we'll be having only one attribute. To access specific character from this list, initially, we need to access this string first. In this, we need to access this string first. To access that string, what I'll do is here, I'll say L of 1 of 1 of 1 of, here I'll say 0. This entire Insta ID presented 0th index. Here I'm saying L of 1 of 1 of 0. So whenever you say L of 1 of 1 of 0, it's giving Instagram ID. I got my Instagram ID. After getting this ID, from this, I want to access character B. In this, I want to access character B. So here it is a string now. From this string, if you want to access any character, we need to specify index of that character. We need to specify index of that character. So here this character B is presented 0, 1, 2, 3, 4th index. So here I'm saying L of. So here it is about accessing any specific character in a list. Now sometimes you will get a requirement like I want to get this Instagram ID and I want to reverse all the characters in this ID. I want to reverse all the characters present in it. To do that thing, initially what we need to do, we need to access that string. To access this Instagram string, here it is a syntax, right? Yeah, good. I'm saying Control C. Here I'm pasting it. After that, to reverse the string, we'll be having syntax like colon, colon, minus 1. Simply I'm saying colon, colon, minus 1. So whenever you specify colon, colon, minus 1, this string will be reversed. So whenever, while grabbing something from Instagram, after grabbing something, after grabbing something, if you want to reverse all the characters, here it is the thing. Okay, it's about the thing. Now what I want to do is, see here it is about slicing. See guys, here I explained you only one example. Please take same string or take different string based on your requirement. and try to access any specific character. Try 2 to 3 trials so that you will get a more clarity on this concept. Okay, it's about performing slicing of nested list. Now here you'll be familiar with the basic slicing. However, we performed basic slicing on like that string data structure. Now I'm defining one list. Sorry, here we got an error. We'll get an error. Here I did not specify the assignment operator. Yeah, I'm running this thing. Now what I'll do is, after defining this thing, I want to reverse this string. Simply we can say L of colon colon -1. Sorry, here I said colon colon 1, means here I said step size as +1. Here I'll say step size as -1. So whenever you say step size as -1, you'll get all the parameters in reverse order. To reverse all the characters present in a list, here will be having this syntax. Okay, now here will be see list functions. Now here I'll keep heading like list functions. Yeah, I'll keep heading like list functions. So coming to the functions, the major purpose of functions is to perform operations very easily on any data structure. Now first we'll be having external function called length function. The sole purpose of this length function is to know the number of elements present in a list. To know the number of elements present in a list, here we'll be having length function. After this length function, here it is an external function. As I already explained you what is external function and what is internal function. External functions are the functions which are designed for all the data structures. Those are said as universal function. Whereas coming to the internal functions, these are the functions which are designed for specific data type only. Okay, we'll see a few important internal functions. Internal functions corresponding to this data type. Those are append function. I'll write all the functions here first. Append, extend. After that, we'll be having insert function, pop, remove, clear, delete. So these are few important functions present in this list data structure. And coming to the first function, now we'll be having a lot of external functions. Those are max function, min function, and we'll be having sum function. After that, we'll be having one more internal function, that is sort function. Coming to the external function, we'll be having sorted function. Like that, we'll be having a few more functions. Those are additional functions only. Yeah, we'll start. We'll go with the one by one. Now, in the list, we'll be having this condition, this data. Now, here we'll see what happens if you perform addition operation on the two list. So here it is my list, and I'll take one more list. In this, I'll specify elements like 4, 9, 10. What happens if you perform addition operation between two lists? See, remember guys, whatever the thing we discussed at the strings concept, here also same thing will happen. So whenever you apply addition operation on the strings, so here it will perform concatenation or appending operation. It will perform concatenation or appending operation. Means at the end of this list, at the end of the first list, this second list attributes will be attached. Here you can see 4, 9, 10 will be attached at the end of the previous list. That is the thing will be happen with this appending or concatenation operation. And here you should remember one more thing. Whenever you want to use appending or concatenation operator, both the things should belongs to same data structure. Okay, if one is a data structure, if another was an integer, it will give you an error. That is about the thing. Similarly, what happens if you apply asterisk on this data structure? So what happens if you apply multiplication operator on this data structure? So this multiplication operator will be works like in repetition operator. In the data structures, this thing will be works as a repetition operator. Okay, so coming to this thing, here you can see the output L into 3. That is, here it is repeating all the parameters present in it. Okay. So please, if you have any queries, any doubts kind of thing, ping me at the remind me at the end of the session, and you can note down all those doubts in your notebook. And please don't send unnecessary messages in the chat. If you send the messages, I'll definitely look at that message, so that our session might be a little bit delayed. That is only the reason. Apart from that, I'm not having any objections. Okay, good. So here it will be works like a repetition operator. So whenever you say list into 3, this list parameters will be repeated into 3 times. Here this pattern will be repeated for 3 times. In the list we'll be having 1 2 3 5 7, 1 2 3 5 7, 1 2 3 5 7, 1 2 3 5 7. This pattern repeated for the 3 times. So whenever you want to repeat a specific pattern for any number of times, here we need to perform asterisk with that number of times. So that is about multiplication operator on list data structure. After this, we'll see, we'll apply different functions on it. Now here we'll be having this data in a list. After that, now what I want to do is I want to apply append method on it. By using append method, I want to add 55, and we'll see the output of the list. So here, if you observe the output of the list, here it is an output. See what's happening here. So here, append is a function which is used to add any element at the end of the list. So whenever you want to add any element at the end of the list, we need to use append method. So here, whatever the element you specified here, that will be added at the end of the list. That is about append method. Similarly, we'll be having extend function also. The purpose of this extend function is to extend one data structure with another data structure. Let's suppose I want to extend this list within another list. Yeah, initially I'll specify parameters. It will give you an error definitely. So here it is giving an error. So whenever you want to perform extend operation, both the things should belongs to your data structure only. Now what I'll do is here I'll specify this thing also in a quotation. Means here I'm specifying this one also in the form of list, so that all the elements present in this inner list will be added to the previous list. All the previous elements present in the list will be added to this list. Someone asked the question like, sir, is L into 3 will reflect the changes in original list? No, it won't influence in a original list. So coming to this plus and multiplication operator will give the result for one instance. See, let's suppose, to make you familiar with it, I'll take very basic example. Yeah, let's suppose I'm defining A equals to 10, B equals to 13, A plus B. Simply if you say A plus B. Is this operation influence A and B values? It won't reflect the value changes in A and B, right? A and B values will remain same. But here addition operation takes place, right? Coming to this operation also same thing. Simply we are performing addition operation between this data structure and this data structure. Whereas if you want to reflect this modification, or if you want to store this modification in some location, you can assign like this. Apart from this, this won't modify the internal data. It won't reflect this modification in this list. So it's like an adding two elements only. So if you add A plus B, it won't affect A and B. A and B values remain same. But here you will get a result. Here also same thing. Here it will give a result for only one instance. That is the thing. So coming to this extend function, to extend one data structure with another data structure, we'll use extend function. To extend one data structure with another data structure, we'll be having extend function. Now you might be get a doubt like, what happens, sir, if we use append method in place of extend? So here, if you use append method in place of extend method, yeah, good. So if you use append method in place of extend method, let's suppose if you want to add two values. Now I'm looking at the content of list. See guys, if you observe here, this will be come up like a nested list. It's coming like a nested list. Means whenever you use append method to add one list elements into another list, whatever the list you want to add, this entire list, it will be considered as single element. This entire list will be added as a single element in a other list. But here, if you want to add all the elements of this list into another list, will be having extend method. Whereas coming to append method, if you want to add only single element in the list, we need to use append method. That's about append method. After that, we'll be having insert method. So it's like a replace method which is present in a string. In the strings will be having replace, right? Like replace here will be having insert method. Like replace here will be having insert method. In this, first we need to specify the index. Means at which location you want to keep a value. At which location you want to keep a value, we need to specify that thing. So here I want to keep a value at the first index. At the first index, I want to keep value 99. So in this insert method, first we need to specify an index. After that, we need to specify a value. So here at this index, this value 99 will be replaced now. Now value 99 will be replaced at that specific index. Now, if you observe the content of the list here at the first index, this value will be appended or added. So coming to append method, if you want to add any element at the end of the list, we'll be using append method. If you want to extend one data structure with another data structure, we'll be having extend method. If you want to add any value at a specific position, we'll be having insert method. After that, we'll be having pop method. The purpose of this pop method is to remove any value from the list. To remove any value from the list, here we'll be having pop method. So here, by default, pop will remove the value which is present at the last index. If you don't specify any index in a pop method, by default, it will remove the value which is present at a last index. So here it is popping this list. So if you observe this thing, here you will get an output. So here it is an output. It is popped, means it is removed from the list. So whenever you want to remove any element from the list, we'll be having pop method. And pop method always takes an index value. If you don't specify any value in this pop method, by default, it will remove the value which is present at a last index. After that, here I'll specify some index to make you familiar with it perfectly. Now I want to remove the value which is presented first index, or else we'll specify the value which is presented second index. If you say L dot pop of 2, here it will remove the value 2. So you might get a confusion again, like the second index in the list will be having 2 only. So you might get a confusion like, so whenever you say 2, it is removing 2, not like that. So now if you observe the content of the list, here we'll be having this thing. Now again, I'll say L dot pop of 3. So whenever you say pop of 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, at the third index will be having 7. 7 will be removed from the list. Sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3. At the third index will be having 5. 5 will be removed from the list. So whenever you want to remove the value by using index, we'll be having pop method. Whereas similar to pop method, we'll be having a remove method also. See, coming to the remove method, if you don't specify any parameters in it, by default, it will give you an error. If you don't specify any parameters, it will give you an error. Now here what I am doing is, in the remove method, I'll specify a value. Like here I want to remove value 3 from the list. Now if you observe the content of the list, there won't be 3. We removed 3. So whenever you want to remove any value from the list, by specifying that exact value, we'll be having remove method. In the remove method, if you don't specify any parameter, it will give you a type error. So we need to specify at least one argument in it. Otherwise, it will give you an error. So if you specify a value which is not present in a list, again, it will give you an attribute error. So here, let's suppose if I specify 100, which is not present in the list, if you specify the value which is not present in the list, again, see here, it will give you a value error. See, coming to the type error, if you don't specify any argument, it will give you a type error. That means here we are missing one argument. Whereas coming to this remove method, if you specify the value which is not present in a list, it will give you a value error. So it's saying like X not in list. If this value is not present in the list, it will give you an error. Okay. Then coming to the next, we'll be having sort method. The purpose of initially I'll show you the output of list. So coming to the next, we'll be having sort method. So here I'm saying L dot sort. So whenever we say list of sort, it will sort all the parameters present in a list. Now, if you observe the content present in a list, here it is sorting all the parameters present in a list. So here it is about the basic order. Now we sorted all the parameters present in a list. So whenever you want to sort all the parameters present in a list, here it is an output. And here for this sort function, for sorting will be having different techniques like bubble sort, insertion sort, merge sort, quick sort kind of techniques. Whereas coming to the implementation of this sorting technique at the back end, they specified tim sort algorithm. They specified tim sort algorithm. Coming to this tim sort algorithm, it is a combination of insertion sort and merge sort. Insertion and merge sort are the quickest sorting techniques. So here he used both the algorithms. Whatever the algorithm gives the quickest result at that instance, it will consider that algorithm as a sorting algorithm here. So it is said as a tim sort algorithm. It is a hybrid algorithm. Okay. So coming to the next, we'll be having a max function. So the purpose of max of list, if you say max of element, it will give you a maximum element present in a list. After that, we'll be having min of list. It will give you a minimum element present in a list. After that, we'll be having sum of L. So if you say sum of list, it will give sum of all the elements present in a list. It's about max min sum function. And here we'll be having sorting function, right? So whenever you sort all the parameters present in a list, by default, it will sort all the parameters in an ascending order. By default, it will sort all the parameters in an ascending order. Now, I want to sort all the parameters in a descending order. So here, if you want to sort all the parameters in a descending order, I'm going to sort function. After going to sort function, I'm clicking on Shift tab. Here in my laptop, I'm clicking on Shift tab. So whenever you click on Shift tab, it will give you default parameters present in it. So by default, reverse will be false. Reverse equals to false means it needs to give output in a forward direction. But now what I want to do is I want to change this reverse equals to false to true now. I'll change this reverse equals to false to true now. So whenever you say reverse equals to true, if you observe the output of list now, here it will give all the parameters in a descending order. So here by using pop method, what I'll do is I'll remove the value which is presented 0th in it. It is a duplicate value in it. Now I want to check the output of list. Now here it is an output of sort function. So here coming to the sort function, in the sort function, if you say reverse equals to true, it will sort the parameters in a descending order. Whereas by default, it will sort the parameters in an ascending order, guys. Okay, remember it. It's an important thing. And here coming to the next, we'll be having sorted function. The purpose of sorted function is to sort all the parameters in a, see, it is also a function which is used to sort the parameters. And coming to the sorted function, it is an external function. So here you can see the output of this thing. So whenever you apply sorted function, it will sort the parameters and it will give the output in an ascending order. Whereas if you observe the output, it will remain in a descending order only. So it will remain in a descending order only. Remember guys, whenever you apply internal function on the list, it will modify the data permanently. It will modify the data present in a list permanently. Whereas coming to this, it is an external function. So external functions won't modify the data. External functions won't modify the data. It will give the output for only one instance. External functions will give the output for only one instance. Now, by using this sorted function also, we can sort the parameters in a descending order ways. Sorted of L comma, here we'll be having parameters. Here I'll specify shift tab. Yeah, we'll be having reverse equals to. In this also we'll be having reverse parameter. Now here I'll say reverse equals to true. By default, reverse equals to false here also. Now I'll say reverse equals to true. So whenever you say reverse equals to true in it, again it will sort the parameters in a descending order. So now, as of now, we discussed all these things. Now leftover things are copy function as well as next thing will be clear and delete functions. Now I'll explain you clear and delete functions first. So here the purpose of clear function is to clear Whereas coming to the cloning, we are copying one array content into another array permanently. Sir, explain cloning again. Okay, good. So coming to the cloning, here what we are doing is we are copying the content of A into C. So by saying A of colon, it is nothing but by using slicing operator, I am copying each and every value in a C. So whenever you perform assignment like this, what happens is, so here both the arrays will be works differently now. Now C will be a different array and A will be a different array. So whenever you modify the content of C, that won't replicate in A. So whenever you modify the content of C, that won't replicate in A. That is about cloning. Okay. And coming to today's session, assignment for you is know the difference between deep copy and shallow copy. Sir, how will get a 44 in aliasing? I performed assignment operation. Aliasing means it will work, both the things will work similarly. So if you modify the content of A, it will replicate in B. Even if you modify the content of B also, it will replicate in same. I gave you very beautiful example, right? Chinnu and Venkatesh. So both are the names of same person. If you hit the Venkatesh, Chinnu also suffer. That is about aliasing. Whereas coming to the cloning, both will works like a different personalities, different objects. So that is about cloning. Okay. Once go through the recording so that you will get a more clarity. And coming to you, assignment is try to apply all these functions on a tuple data structure. After applying all these things on a tuple data structure, try to know the difference between aliasing and cloning. I'm not feeling ill. I'm feeling tongue pain. With this, I'm concluding for today unexpectedly. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. See you in the Monday session. See you. Bye.